Australia has a lot of spiders, but recently we found a new one, because of course we fucking did. And the new one is the most certified Australia moment I've ever seen. For a bit of context, one of the several thousand spider species we are home to is the Sydney funnel web, the deadliest spider on the planet. Because of course it's down here. Where the fuck else did you think you were going to find it? These scary looking fuckers are highly venomous and can flatline you with a bite in 15 minutes. And if you think wearing thick clothes will save you, be aware the bastards have fangs long enough to punch through shoe leather. Now, why do I bring these little nightmares up? What is the one thing worse than a spider rocking armor-piercing rounds that can send you to heaven with same-day delivery? A bigger spider rocking the same perk setup. That's right, Australian scientists have found a brand new species of this funnel web that is even bigger. How much bigger? Well, the standard Sydney funnel web grows to around 5 centimetres or 2 inches. And I mean, if you're asking me, 2 inches is more than enough. 2 inches is actually fucking huge. By comparison, this is the new one. It's twice the fucking size, cunt! 4 inches of 8-legged menace to the animal kingdom. But that isn't even the best part. You see, do you know what they named this thing? Do you know what professional scientists named a supersized version of the most dangerous spider on the entire fucking planet? The Newcastle Big Boy. Deadliest spider on the entire fucking globe. Big Boy. Only in Australia. Platypus are weird, but I'm not sure you quite understand just how fucking weird. See, everyone knows the basics. They lay eggs, they sweat milk, and they look like God hit randomizer on the spore creature creator and just called it a day. But you see, mate, that's barely even scratching the surface of weird platypus features. First up, as is the qualifier for any Australian animal, did you know they're venomous? No, I'm not fucking with you, you heard me correctly. Male platypus actually have venomous spurs on their hind legs. These spurs are multi-purpose, acting as defense from predators, as well as a tool for throwing hands with other male platypus during mating season. And while their venom is non-lethal, that doesn't mean that getting stung by them doesn't fucking suck. See, platypus venom can cause extreme pain and swelling, and to ensure you remember not to fuck with them again, these effects can last for several months and have no treatment or anti-venom. So if Perry stabs your shit, your only option is to cry about it. Next on the list of offensive capabilities, I shit you not, platypus share the same hunting method as sharks. You see, that big-ass bill isn't just for show, as it contains enough surveillance equipment to make the CIA blush. Possessing the ability to sense changes in pressure in the water, but most importantly, containing electroreceptors that track electrical signals from muscle contractions made by their prey. Meaning that when whatever they're chasing starts quaking in fear, they know about it. And last but not least, as if those things weren't already unbelievable, we recently discovered something new. Platypus are fucking biofluorescent. They glow. If you hit these things with a black light, they go bright fucking green. And the best part of that is, we have no clue why they do it. I guess it just means Perry was a biblically accurate platypus man. I'll give up, man. Who fucking designed this thing? BMW, yet the car company, has an emu farm. But what the fuck do the Germans want with our steroid chickens? Well, you see, a lot of complex parts have to come together to build a car. I mean, your transmission, your engine, I would say indicators, but we are talking about BMW here. However, the first thing you'll notice about a car is usually the simplest, the paint. Yeah, it doesn't really matter how nice your car is. If the paint's peeling off like a banana, people are going to assume it's a fucking shitbox. And that's why car companies put a lot of time and research into making sure the paint stays on your car while you slide it sideways into a tree. One of the best ways to do that is fucking clean it. See, anything that isn't wiped off the car gets stuck under the paint when it's applied, which fucks up adhesion by moving around. And even the tiniest particles of dust can fuck it all up. So, the Germans pondered, what is the best way to make sure every panel is spotless? And the answer they landed on is a giant fuck-off duster made of Australia's favourite feathered war criminals. And it wasn't just BMW that found this out, but Audi as well. Now, Audi gets their dino turkey feathers from the source, shipping directly from the land down under.
¿Quieres?
Now, BMW used to do the same thing, till someone at head office had a thought. Hang on, the feathers. If we ship over 4 emus and place them in a grid, infinite feather source. And so they airdropped Australia's big birds onto a farm in Bavaria, where a small sleeper cell of Australia's most wanted resides to this day. The funny part of this to me is that BMW went so far as shipping kaiju turkeys to make the paint on their cars look good. Just for some TikToker to buy it for clout, wrap it bright purple, and then crash it into a fucking wall. This pig went on an alcoholic rampage. No, that's not clickbait. This really happened, and as with all good drunken rampages, our story takes place in fucking Australia. More specifically, it starts in the middle of fucking nowhere, WA, where a couple blokes were out camping. And as any good Australian would, these lads brought with them the camping essentials. Let's see here, we've got the swags, box of snags from Woolies, and most important of all, beers. And those beers are why, at 4 in the fucking morning, these lads were suddenly ripped from sleep by a really weird sound. A low, snuffling and grunting noise, followed by the sound of bending aluminium. So, to ensure they weren't being attacked by, pick a native Australian animal, they got out of their tents, turned on a torch, and shined a light at it. And what they found was a wild pig shotgunning all of their piss. And I don't mean 1 or 2 beers. No. Daddy Pig was on a serious bender because he managed to down 18 fucking cans. Now, fun fact about beers. Once you hit the 18 mark, all of your stats are redistributed into strength and you gain the frenzy debuff. This is why, after being spotted by the torch, the pig fucking sonicked away from the now empty 6-packs, knocked over the garbage cans, paused, turned around and ate the garbage, then continued sprinting to a nearby paddock where it started headbutting a fucking cow. No. This really pissed off the cow, who turned around to face the pig. And it was at this point, looking up at the very pissed off Big Mac, the pig realised he genuinely wasn't built for this shit. Yeah, this little piggy turned around and fucking booked it out of the paddock, being closely pursued by the ghost of burgers past. The cow chased him around a car for 10 minutes before giving up, leaving the still drunk pig to stumble away and pass out in a fucking bush. Octopuses bleed blue. But why?
Why are you blue?
Well, actually, it's not just octopuses. If you lined up Gary, Larry the Lobster, and Mr. Krabs, you will find that all of them bleed Gatorade. Now, this isn't just for aesthetic purposes. Running what appears to be blended up Smurf through their veins actually serves an important purpose. And to learn what that is, we gotta talk about your blood. You see, your circulatory system is based on iron. Iron is used to produce hemoglobin, which in turn carry oxygen around the body, allowing for you to, exist. And when iron is exposed to oxygen, it oxidizes and goes red, which is why when you get shanked, sprays out tomato sauce. Now here is the fun part. The cast of SpongeBob don't run on iron. Their circulatory system is based on copper. So rather than hemoglobin, the copper creates hemomyosin to cart the oxygen around. And as anyone who's ever seen the Statue of Liberty can attest, when copper oxidizes, it turns blue. Now, the reason for them evolving copper is pretty simple. Our blood fucking sucks. See, the inferior hemoglobin is far less efficient at binding oxygen than the Chad hemocyanin. And considering all of these bad boys live or travel through incredibly cold, low oxygen environments, they need to get the most out of every breath they take. They basically switched evolution teams from red to blue because red blood has a skill issue. Australia is home to some of the deadliest animals on the planet. But what if I told you there's one creature they all fear? An invasive species, millions strong, wiping out native animals that we are locked in combat with to this very day. What kind of vile beast is capable of spreading such reckless hate? The answer is this fat fucking toad. But how did this war begin? Well, to answer your question, we're gonna have to go way back. The year is 1866. We are in the land down under, and our story begins the same way many tragedies do, with the British. You see, having gone hippity-hoppity, your ancestral home is now my property around 90 years back, the Brits were in full swing, rampantly colonising the country. And part of that included agriculture. Now, they brought with them many crops, but the important one in this story is sugarcane. Sugar was valuable, not only for trade, but also because, well, the fucking tea isn't going to sweeten itself, is it? But you see, sugarcane only grows in the heat, which ruled out the south of the country. It also likes humid environments, which ruled out Western Australia, which left them with one option. And so, the cane farmers loaded up their first Stardew Valley save in Queensland in 1866. But the farmers ran into an issue. You see, Queensland is home to these nifty little bugs called Dermalopida albertum. These are native beetles that hit their macros by munching on plant leaves. So when cane farmers joined the Queensland Minecraft server and set up a f***ing Hermitcraft-sized farm, the beetles were in heaven and set to work demolishing the plant leaves. Now, funnily enough, the adult bugs weren't actually the problem. Sugarcane leaves hold f***all value. But the problem is that with such an abundant food source, the bugs started multiplying, laying their eggs around the base of the plants. These eggs hatched into larvae, and unlike the grown-ups, these little worms don't eat the leaves. They eat the roots. And so the sugarcane starts getting absolutely fucking spit roasted, and the farmers can do nothing but watch as sugarcane yield plummets through the floor along with their profits. This whole situation really pissed off the farmers, who banded together, went to the Australian government, and told them to fucking fix it. Sir, a horde of creatures is destroying the cane fields. Fuck. And so, the Queensland government founded the Bureau of Sugar Experimentation Stations, or the BSES, in 1900. This team of crack scientists then immediately set out trying to solve the very same issue every single Factorio player faces. This place is covered in bugs. They are breaking my shit. How do I violently slaughter the local wildlife in order to expand capitalism and my profit margins? The BSES pondered this question for 25 fucking years. They tried spraying chemical insecticides. Didn't work. They tried injecting insecticides into the soil. Didn't work. They tried releasing the fucking cordyceps fungus. And it still didn't work. Then, one day in the office, while pondering this question, someone had an idea. Okay, we are getting outmaneuvered by the cast of Bugs Life. Someone in this office, please give me anything. What about cane toads? What? Cane toads. Those big fucking fat things that exist in the cane fields in Hawaii. I mean, it's a frog. They eat bugs. We just introduce an invasive species to fix a problem caused by an invasive species. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? And so, in June of 1936, 2,400 brave cane divers were deployed to the fields to deal with the arthropod menace. But there's just one small issue. Cane toads were fucking dog shit. Yeah, funnily enough, big, fat, slow, ground-dwelling toads were not exactly the smartest solution to deal with beetles that spend the majority of their adult life 6 meters off the fucking ground.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
On top of that, cane toads don't dig for food either, so they didn't eat the larvae. Now this all sounds like information that should have come up during the research and study phase of the plan. This, however, implies that there was a research and study phase. The BSES did not conduct a single fucking study on environmental impact before releasing an army of cane toads. Are you This complete absence of brain cells caused a rather spectacular domino effect of ecological fuck-ups, and it's going to teach you a valuable lesson about invasive species. You see, while the cane toads barely ate what they were supposed to, they did eat. And as incredibly large omnivorous toads, they ate practically anything they could fit into their mouths. Rats, mice,
lizards,
snails, baby birds. It was the toad equivalent of fucking Kirby. And then, not unlike the exact problem they were brought here to solve, with all that food, they started reproducing. A lot. In fact, female cane toads can lay anywhere between 8,000 to 30,000 fucking eggs per clutch. But I mean, this should not be too much of a problem. Australia is home to some of the deadliest creatures on the planet. Surely, the local wildlife has this under control. Wait, what? Yeah, cane toads, they're poisonous. So those little bulges on the shoulder, and those are parotid glands, and they are packed to the brim with bufotoxin. No, that's not a D's nuts joke.
Got him!
Now, whenever the adult toads are threatened, they will squirt this white, sticky fluid out of the glands. And when ingested, it does two things. One, makes you trip absolute balls thanks to the hallucinogenic bufotenin. And two, the other ingredient, bufogen, just straight up gives you a fucking heart attack. It's important to note that this toxin is also present in their eggs and tadpoles. Now, in their natural habitat, this isn't as much of a problem because everything around them has had thousands of years to get good and deal with this fuck-ass poison build by either developing immunity or learning to eat around the glands. But Australia is not their ecosystem, and despite all of the deadly animals we've got, they have had a grand total of 5 minutes to adapt to the presence of the fucking calid toad. Now, quick question for the class. What happens to an animal population when there is nothing to eat it? It gets bigger. And so, shortly after being introduced, a rapidly expanding tyrannid swarm of toads began to spread across the country. The BSES noticed this and, did fucking nothing. Because it technically didn't affect the sugar cane. The swarm spread further, occupying all inhabitable parts of Queensland, and they were laying so many fucking eggs that their clutches began polluting the waterways like a bufotoxin teabag, killing native fish as well as any animals that drank from the water. The BSES did nothing. Those eggs hatched into tadpoles, which started killing more fish. The BSES still did nothing. the swarm advanced, breaching into the Northern Territory and New South Wales. When questioned, the BSES insisted the toads were doing their jobs and everything was fine. By the 1980s, the toads were now starving out or just fucking eating local wildlife and one-shotting anything that tried to eat them. And considering, at this point, there were 5 fucking million of them, that happened a lot. So, with local wildlife being absolutely fucking decimated, the BSES was forced to acknowledge that maybe, just maybe,
Listen, we fucked up.
but, oh well, everyone makes mistakes. Nothing we can do about it. No! They left it for the government to clean up. Sir, a second horde of creatures has escaped the cane field. Fuck! Yeah, they realised just how much damage was being done and in 1986 began funneling federal funds into controlling the population. They tried trapping and physically removing the toads, but unless they had 5 million traps, that wasn't going to do shit. Biological warfare was proposed in the form of releasing viruses and parasites, but was shot down because it would do just as much damage to the native wildlife. And so, the toad front continues to advance to this day. So where does that leave us? Short answer is kind of fucked. Cane toads now threaten a total of 75 native species, and they've even driven populations of animals like the northern quoll to complete extinction in parts of the country they infest. And with the population now sitting at 200 fucking million toads, that infestation is spreading, with predictions showing they will be fucking up ecosystems in 5 states in the near future. And given that they have amassed a population 10 times the size of the humans in Australia, the government has completely fucking abandoned the fight for eradication, switching focus to harm reduction, using bait toads covered in non-lethal but unpleasant substances to try to teach local wildlife that toad bad. On top of this, the government has encouraged the broader public to, just fucking kill the toads. You are supposed to do it humanely by catching them and sticking them in a freezer for 48 hours, but, most people don't want a frog taking up their freezer space, so they just use a fucking golf club or a car.
Driving in my car right after
And with this being Australia, our wildlife is also putting up a fight. Keelback snakes, for example, are immune to their venom, and ricali and magpies have learned to flip them onto their backs before getting a feed. Now, jokes aside, you want to know who I feel genuinely fucking awful for? The toads. They didn't ask for any of this shit. They just got dumped onto a random island and did their thing, and now they are being actively hunted. No. The assholes in this story are the BSES and the cane growers. Because you may be thinking, why were they allowed to do this shit in the first place? Well, that's the neat part. They weren't. The federal government banned the fucking idea when they came up for it in 1935, based on the advice of entomologists who rightly presumed the toads would become a bigger fucking issue than the beetles. But the BSES and the cane growers lobbied to have the ban lifted in 1936. We are stuck in permanent toad combat because these dickheads looked at scientific advice and went, nah-uh. You have got to be